Hi everyone, Ashlyn Giza YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about panic attacks and anxiety. They're both kind of the same thing, but a little different, and I'll explain it in the video. So I started getting panic attacks towards the end of high school, and I noticed that when I went to like the mall, I went to uh, like Walmart or like somewhere big, just anywhere with a lot of people. My heart would start racing, my hands would get sweaty, my feet would get sweaty. I would just kind of get clammy altogether and feel like I was going to pass out. And I noticed too that I had like racing thoughts like, okay, if something bad happens, how am I going to get out of here? If I feel like I'm going to pass out or something like that, it's going to be really embarrassing. So that would make it worse because I would start having thoughts of like that, like what if I pass out in front of everybody, and then it would make my anxiety worse. Um, so I didn't understand what was going on at first because I didn't know what panic attacks were, and so my mom, I guess, she used to suffer from them when I started to tell her how I felt when I would go out. And sometimes, and she said she would get them, and that's how I found out what they were because she told me. But sometimes when you get them, you can get them at home even when nothing is going on, when life is good and you have no stresses, they can suddenly just come on. And that's part of the disease. That's part of the mental illness is that they just can come on out of nowhere. Your life doesn't have to be going bad because in order to have an anxiety attack. So, um, what I learned was that, um, when you're having that heart pounding feeling, you're not having a heart attack. You're not. It's just your body in a flight or fight mode, and it can be from post traumatic stress disorder if you guys have that. But it can be from many different things. You can start having anxiety attacks from like thinking about things that you have to do the next day and then you don't get any sleep at night. You can get anxiety attacks about making sure a party that you're hosting is going good, or you can have anxiety attacks about nothing at all, just nothing. But normally, when I get anxiety attacks, it's when I go out places. I'm not a very social person, so when I go out places, I'm always afraid that people are going to think I'm weird or I'm saying something wrong, or that I'm going to do something that they don't approve of. And I never really figured out where that stemmed from yet, but that's how I feel, and that's why I don't really go out a whole lot or hang out with a bunch of people. So, but nonetheless, I also was kind of talking about this yesterday in my OCD video because I feel like they kind of correlate. When I go out into restaurants, I have such bad panic attacks and OCD that I have to sit by the front doors, the seats closest to the front doors of the restaurant, or seats that are closest to the bathroom. So if I have a panic attack, I can quickly excuse myself from whoever I'm with and go outside and get fresh air or go to the bathroom to calm myself down. I've learned that's a technique to do if you don't really want to tell other people that you have that, because it's more talked about now than it was back then. But there's still some judgy people that are like, oh, that person's weird. What are they freaking out about? What are they panicky about? They don't understand it. A lot of people don't understand what a panic attack is unless they've had one. You can even get globus sensation, globus hysterius. It's a sensation in your throat where it feels like you're being choked, but you're obviously not. It feels like you can't breathe and or swallow anything, but that's just a feeling that you get that you can get when you do have anxiety, and so or a panic attack. So yeah, it's sometimes there's been times where people have been talking to me like, "Hi Ashley, how are you and the kids? How have you and the kids been? What's new?" And they're talking at me, and I start getting a panic attack, and I'm thinking, "How am I supposed to get away? How am I supposed to get away from them when they're talking to me without looking like a freak?" But I've learned honestly to just, you know, tell people, just say, "I'm sorry. Hold on a second. I'm having a panic attack and I don't know why. It's coming out of nowhere." Some people don't like to do that, but for me it works to just tell whoever you're talking to, or whenever a panic attack comes on, just tell whoever you're around, "I'm really sorry. I'm having a panic attack and I don't know really why. It just came on." And a majority of the time, I was kind of shocked when I started doing it, because majority of the time people understood. They just a lot Some people would be like, "Okay, just try to take a deep breath, kind of try to slow your breathing down. It's okay." And when you do that, boom, it almost feels like it actually works. If you pay attention to your breathing and pay attention and just tell yourself, "Okay, this is just a panic attack. This will go away." Or just the techniques that I told you guys to just, excuse yourself and go and get a fresh air or go to the bathroom and take a moment for yourself. Um, and also, talk to your doctor about the way you're feeling too, of course. Tell them that you're having these feelings, and they can give you some medication for anxiety too. Now, I'm not a big fan of Xanax or lorazepam or any benzo type medication. I do take a form of Xanax. I do take alprazolam, but I had an addiction problem to that, and I talk about it in my video addictions. Um, I had a big addiction problem with it and almost OD'd, so I had to get weaned down to a very low dose, and I had to do it really slowly so I wouldn't have blood pressure problems and other problems along the way. Because that's not a medication you're supposed to quit cold turkey. So, but there's those, and then there's also antidepressants, which those ones I would more recommend. Of course, I'm not a doctor, but I'm just saying those are the ones that I would recommend is antidepressants. Zoloft, Celexa, sertraline's a generic form of Zoloft. I don't know what other kind they have out there, because I've been on Zoloft since I was 13. So, I would probably go more with an antidepressant than I would a benzo, because addiction issues. There's also antihistamines that do work for anxiety that are non addictive, because they kind of make you tired, and more relaxed. So there are other options besides just benzos and antidepressants, but I would definitely talk to your doctor, because I'm not a doctor. I'm just giving advice on and opinions on all of this. Uh, so there's also meditation, working out, and going out in the sun and just like either fish. I love to fish. Me and my husband love fishing. So either fish or, go tubing, uh, just get out by the water, just get outside at a park and just relax. Get sun, and getting out sometimes helps. And sometimes, even if you don't want to socialize, you don't feel like socializing, sometimes being around friends and family does help, because sometimes you can get anxiety just from being alone with your own thoughts. So, and also it helps to have like a safe person, like somebody that you can talk to, somebody that has anxiety themselves, so they you have someone to relate to you, someone that understands. Me and my husband both have anxiety, so it's really nice that we both can understand each other. We can just look at each other and notice that, okay, they're not doing too good. We should probably get out of here. Um, so yes. Also, another thing that I do when I have anxiety that I forgot to mention in this video, I mentioned in my last, is that I sit in the back seats too at a movie theater, or it depends on how the movie theater is set up. Some movies are set up to where there's front row seats, but there's a back row to those front row seats, so you can just get up from that back row and directly go down this hall to the exit to go get out of that little theater, and go out in the halls, concession stands, and bathrooms to leave. It depends on where how it's set up, but what I do is I usually always sit at the end so I can leave right away and people aren't looking at me. So it's all just weird. There's a lot of different things that I do that I could tell people and help people, let them know about what I do, and it might help them figure out what to do when they're in a situation. I would just tell somebody, if they're talking to you and you're starting to have a panic attack, just tell them. If you don't like telling people that, then I would just say, "Excuse me, sorry, I have to go to the restroom," and go to the bathroom to calm down. And then I would always just, sometimes keeping like an ice pack sometimes, or a cold cloth to kind of put behind your neck or something sometimes too helps. Just do whatever you need to do to make yourself comfortable when you do have to go out and be social with people. Because I'll tell you what, figuring out to just do what I need to do to make myself happy and comfortable, that helped a lot when I was first learning about this and being all scared and everything about what people thought about me. That was making it worse for me, just holding everything inside and like not bringing things with me that would make me feel comfortable. But there's other things too to keep your mind distracted. They have these little popping things too nowadays. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. They're like a little rubber pad, and they have these bubble things in them, and you can pop them. There's like fidget spinners. Those are kind of old. All that they have for anxiety. So um and also therapy, that can work too, going to a therapist, a psychologist, and they can help you figure out even more medications that are available. So hold on a second, I gotta go get my son again, sorry. Okay, I'm back. I had to get my little baby son again. Okay, so anyways, back to panic attacks and anxiety attack. um Another thing that kind of relates with anxiety and panic attacks is also agoraphobia. Being agoraphobic. Sorry, I'm having trouble saying that for some reason today. But basically, that's someone who never really wants to leave their house because they're afraid that something bad is going to happen. And they're just, period, they're just afraid to go leave their home, period. So they stay inside and don't come out a lot and really go nowhere unless they absolutely have to. And whenever they do, they just freak out, and have a panic attack, a really bad one. And that used to be me. In my 20s, I don't know why, but I would have really bad agoraphobia, and I wouldn't want to go anywhere. I wouldn't want to go to family functions, to the store, nothing. And I always, when I go somewhere, I would always have to have somebody with me. I couldn't go alone. I've gotten a lot better at that, going places alone. But sometimes I still more like having somebody to come with me than not, just because things have changed over the years, with health conditions and everything. I like to have my husband, or my oldest daughter, or someone like that to come with me, just because if I have a health issue happen, they're there to help me. So it's no longer just about an anxiety, having an anxiety attack or panic attack, or being agoraphobic. It's now, you know, still kind of having panic attacks and anxiety, but more or less worried about having a health issue happen and then no one there to help me because I have a lot of health conditions, which I talk about in my video thyroid cancer. But nonetheless, I hope some of my tricks and tips and advice and information about anxiety and panic attacks can help you guys, because you're definitely not alone, and it's more and more talked about today than it was back when I was younger, which I wish it was talked about more when I was younger so I didn't feel like such a weirdo. But I mean, it's great that people are talking about it now. So then then when you, if you are one of those people that like to say, "Hey, I'm having kind of a panic attack right now," like if you're like me, it helps a lot. So, but that is my video for today, and I'll be on tomorrow with another life topic. Hope you guys have a great day. Thanks.